Hello, Happy New Year and welcome to Human Physiology. I'm excited to have you in class and look forward to meeting you next week. My name is Erin Nagley and I am your instructor for Human Physiology. So in this video, I wanted to give you a brief background about the structure of the class, as well as how to navigate tips for our Canvas site. So let's get started, and I will do so by sharing my screen, something I'm sure you're all familiar with now at this point in our global pandemic life. So human physiology, a bit about me. One, I really love corny jokes. This is something I struggled with over break, perhaps you did as well. And the other image that's not the cartoon about eating too much pie is something called the sodium potassium pump, which is a mechanism in your cells right now that are doing things like helping you think. One of the absolutely amazing things to me about the human body and human physiology is so much of keeping you alive and keeping you healthy comes all down to moving charged atoms known as ions, so things like sodium or potassium, across the membranes of your cells, coming in, going out. It's incredible how much your body achieves just by doing that. And we'll talk about all the ways your body uses this pretty simple tool on the surface of it to do really complex things. It's amazing. Okay, so class. Our class meets on Monday and Wednesday. I have two sections of physiology. One's in the morning, so you're either in section 3868 or you're in the afternoon section 4456. Regardless, we will be in Sugar Pine, which is the image of the building you see here. If that's new to you, we're on the second floor, so you just go up the stairs. Our lectures in room 214, which is just at the top of the stairs, and then our lab is just around the corner to the right. So lecture, you will be attending lecture twice a week, both Monday and Wednesday. Whereas lab, you'll be coming once a week. So you'll either come Monday or Wednesday, thus once a week, and your assigned lab group is an announcement on Canvas. So if you're not sure what your lab group is yet, make sure you check that announcement on Canvas. I'll show you where that is in a moment. Why are we doing this? Well, we're still in the global pandemic, and our campus is practicing both social distancing as well as masking inside of buildings. So our lecture room is big enough that I can hold 24 students, and I think having lecture twice a week rather than having a recorded lecture and then coming to campus once a week will be much better for your learning and for the cohesiveness of class. I think you'll really enjoy that. And I think it will be better for all of our brains and building those learning networks. Lab is a smaller room, so I can only have 12 of you at a time. So you'll have one on-campus lab a week, and then you'll have one online lab simulation once a week. So if you're in the morning lecture, section 3868, lecture starts at 9:40 in room 214, the one right at the top of the stairs. We have a 15-minute break, and then your lab begins, and you'll either just come to lab on Monday or Wednesday. Afternoon section, our lab's actually first. That helps with our logistics of prepping. At 2:40 in Sugar Pine 207, and then lecture starts at 4:20. All right, so if you've got any questions about class sessions, if you're in the Monday lab group but want to switch, or vice versa, if you're in the Wednesday group, or I somehow haven't assigned you to a group yet, let me know and we'll take care of it as best we can. Weekly assignments, you've got a number of them because they're going to help inspire you to keep up on the concepts. Physiology is super complicated. I don't have to try, it just comes that way. And in order to understand those concepts and keep up on the learning, it's important that you're engaged on a regular basis with this material because it builds throughout the semester. So if you don't understand what happened in week 1 and 2, that's going to show up weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I just want to make sure that you have lots of opportunities to engage with the material in interesting ways. So here are your assignments. First of all, modified mastering A and P. This is a learning platform that comes along with your book, and there's more information on Canvas. And I sent out an email earlier about how to get your access code for that. If you've got questions about that, let me know. But those are meant as introductory tutorials. So you'll work on them the week or perhaps the night before you come to lecture, just to kind of get a taste of what's coming and start to understand what we'll be talking about. So those are due on Sundays. You can always do them early. They open up a week early, so you have the full week to get them done. And then with every topic for every week, you'll see that our Canvas site is set up in weekly modules. And for each one of those modules, you'll have a practice quiz. And those are to help you check in on your understanding, see if you've got it, or if you've still got some work to do. It's really just to check in where your learning's at. You have an opportunity to take that quiz 3 times, and I'll keep your highest score. So truly should be a practice quiz, and I expect people to get perfect scores by their 3rd take if you need them. And those are always going to be due on Mondays. And so those will be the week after. So let's say the first week we start talking about homeostasis and feedback loops, right? So then we'll have that lecture for the week. You'll have the weekend to work on things, if that's when you work on things. And then that practice quiz is due on Mondays. And of course, you could take it the first time earlier, get some feedback, ask some questions, and take it again the 2nd or 3rd time. Class study guides. So you also have weekly study guides. I'll show you where you find those on our Canvas site. And we're going to work as a class to complete those study guides. And each of you will answer 1 question and comment on 2 of your peers' answers. And you'll be doing that every week. And those are always due on Wednesdays. You'll have for your on-campus lab, that might be Monday, that might be Wednesday. Usually you'll have a pre-lab, you want the first lab, but after that you'll have pre-labs. Those are due right before the lab begins. I'll come around and make sure that you've got that done. And then every lab you'll also have a report handout, kind of a worksheet type of thing that you'll be filling out during lab, and often there are a couple of questions after lab for you to answer. So those will be due the following week in lab. Then you'll also have weekly online labs. They're an online simulation. They work best with Firefox, but also I've had good luck with Google Chrome. Those are due on Thursdays. You don't need to purchase anything for that. The campus has purchased that software. You just need to log on to Canvas and do the Labster simulation. And then I also have extra credit opportunities. It's a gratitude practice, and you can read more about that if you want to, but basically that stems from the idea that people who practice gratitude, research shows, have an improved ability for what's called delayed gratification. In other words, you do the hard stuff now to get the rewards later, which is pretty much learning in college. So to help you do that, I've instituted this gratitude practice in my classes, and students have really enjoyed them. So you can choose to do that or not. It's extra credit, it's totally optional. All right, so let's talk about how to get onto Canvas if that's new to you, and navigate our site. So I'm going to stop this share and start another one. All right, so how to get to Canvas. If this is new to you, here's our college homepage, gocolumbia.edu. These icons up on the right-hand corner, one of them is the Canvas login. You click on that, and it's going to ask you to log in, which is the same thing as your email login. If this is new to you, you've got some links here that can help you get through that. So you'll sign in, and you'll have this dashboard open up. You will find on that dashboard our class, which is here. This cartoon is another membrane protein you'll become familiar with. I'll leave you on your edge of your seat for that one. So here's what our Canvas site is going to look like. Recent announcements will always be on top. So here's where you can find out where your lab groups are. And you've got your to-do list over here. So if you're curious about like what assignments are coming up, that helps remind you what's coming up. There's a greeting here from me. This video will be here as well, so you can read through that. And then Canvas in general. So on this left side, you have your account. So I'm in as a test student, not myself at this moment, but for notifications. So you might want to log into notifications and you can choose. The test student doesn't work. I didn't realize that. My apologies. But we're going to keep going because I can't edit these very well. It's one of the poor things about Zoom. Okay, anyway, but trust me when I say when you get in here, you can click notifications and you can choose whether to get notified when I grade things or when assignments are made. You've got all kinds of options. So, or new announcements, you'll figure it out. And then the other handy thing over here is this calendar. So on the calendar, it's going to show you all of the assignments that you have that are coming up and due. And then this inbox, this is the email inside of Canvas, and it's the best way to get a hold of me. Email me. I check it regularly throughout the week, multiple times a day, and I try to reply to students within 24 to 48 hours. If you haven't heard from me, it means it got lost somehow. But usually this inbox, things don't get lost. If you email me at in my nagley@yosemite.edu, that's also where I'm getting all kinds of other emails, and sometimes they get lost in there, but I don't lose them in here. I don't want to lose them. Okay. So other things you're going to find here, right? Announcements. So sometimes I'll use this tool to make an announcement. Syllabus, you'll find the syllabus here, whether you're in the morning section 3868 or the afternoon 4456. Here are my office hours. I'll be in my office every week at those times. If they don't work for you, let me know. We can find another time if you want to check in and ask some questions. There's also a course summary here that also tells you when things are due. Modules. So this is where you'll spend most of your time in our Canvas site. There's an introductory module with some background about the course, myself, growth mindset. We're going to be talking about that a lot this semester. And then our COVID campus vaccination and testing policy. So in addition to social distancing and masking, we also have a vaccination and testing policy. So I encourage you to check that out before you come to campus next week. Details are here. You've got a link here about your testing and vaccination options. If you've got questions, let me know, but most of them should be answered here. Back to modules. Some resources, check them out if they're useful to you. And then you have some introductory assignments just to kind of get you used to using Canvas and checking in that you know what you've gotten yourself into. That's what the course logistics quiz is about. And then building a learning community is really important. It's a main part of having your experience on campus. And so one of these first assignments also encourages you to meet your peers to kind of, you've got a couple questions to answer. And so I encourage you to do that and then check out your peers' answers and start to get to know each other. You'll be working together in lecture, answering questions and asking questions, as well as lab. There are two of these here because one's for the morning section, one's for the afternoon section. All right, mastering A&P and tools. So this link here will help you figure out how to start My Lab and Mastering, which this tab here is for. And there's also a really great article about studying techniques. We'll talk more about that in the second or third week of the semester, but if you want to check that out early, you're welcome to. And then this link here, class, Google folder, study guides, and PowerPoint slides. I also incorporate this link within the modules, but I keep this one at the top just for an easy place for you to find it. So when you click on this, here's what you're going to find. 16 folders, because we have 16 weeks. that show your resources for every week. So for example, in week 1, homeostasis, feedback, and membranes, you've got a couple of study guides. Most of the time, you're just gonna have one study guide. This one I broke up into 2. So I encourage you to utilize these because this is what our learning is based on. Our lectures are based on this. Your practice quizzes, as well as your lecture exams. So this is a major study tool for you. Your book is a thick tome of knowledge. It's fantastic, but if you try to read it like a novel, you're not going to remember much. You'll remember a few things, but it's just not the way our brains work. But if you read your book with an intentional question that you're trying to answer and understand, then your brain has something to build on and work with and connect to. And that's how I'm going to encourage you to use your book. So when you open up these study guides, wait for it, make sure I'm still sharing what I think I am. Good. You'll notice that this says 1.4, homeostasis is maintained by negative feedback. That correlates to 1.4 in your textbook. So those questions that follow 1.4, you should find the answers to in that portion of your textbook. And as you're reading that portion, those are the questions I want you to be thinking about and trying to answer. Okay. You'll notice I haven't added the PowerPoints yet. That's on my to-do list for this afternoon, but I will be building that throughout the semester. So the PowerPoint slides I share in class, I'll also put in there. You might find that a useful resource, you might not, whatever. Some students like to print them off where you've got 3 slides per page and take their notes on those during class or review them later. However you want to use the tool, you're welcome to do it. All right, so that's the introductory module. Mastering A and P and the link to the study guide module. And then right now you've got 2 modules available to you, week 1 and week 2. So they always start out with some introductory information. Now, our lectures are face-to-face twice a week. However, I have lectures from when this class was completely online. After conferring with lots of students from previous semesters, their thought was it would be really handy if I kept those recorded lectures available to you as your resource. So that's what I'm doing. So our live lectures are going to be a little bit different, but a lot of the content will still be the same. So if you find you want a review or there's some specific thing you want to check out and review, you can do that here. You've got 2 options. One, these red links here go straight to Zoom. The resolution's a little bit better and it has a transcript. So pause that. We don't need double errands. Right. So you've got this, but it also has that transcript and you can search the transcript. So let's say like, man, the whole negative feedback loop was really confusing to me. And so you can search that transcript and it will take you to different places in the lecture where we talk about that. So, or embedded in it, I've downloaded them and put them on YouTube as well, whatever is useful to you. And then below that, you're always going to find some additional videos or links to websites that have information that's relevant and addresses some more of the complicated concepts we're talking about that I think might help give you better background information. All right, so that will always be how the modules start. Sometimes there's 2 parts, sometimes there's just 1. And then you'll have this block of activities to complete. So here's your first mastering assignment, homeostasis, feedback loop, and membranes. The class wiki study guide. So you'll go in here. This is actually a Google document that you'll open up, and there you'll find a review of the instructions. I'll let you read through that. And then you can navigate the document, opening up the outline, and then choose which question you want to answer. And you'll, if I, for instance, wanted to answer this one, I would say Aaron, And here's my answer. Oh, typing in public, it's so much fun. And then I would write my answer following the instructions that are above. And then you'll also comment on two of your peers' answers. So let's say somebody else is given a fantastic answer and I'm another human. I don't know, let's say I'm Linda and I'm going to be Linda and I'm going to comment and then I'm going to add to it. And the way, what I want to see in your comments is you're adding something to the original answer. So if it helps you understand it, great. Give them a kudos, tell them what was really helpful to you. I really support you supporting each other, but I also want you to add to it. So an example, maybe you have a link to a video or a website or an image from our textbook you want to incorporate into it, but something that gives content to the answer. All right, and also every week you're going to have your extra credit gratitude practice, totally optional. They're due every Friday. And then you'll have your lab exercises. So you'll have one that's online, which is a Labster simulation, and you'll have one that's on campus. The ones on campus, I will always physically give you the handout to work on. Our first week, you'll get 2 packets. You'll get the packet we're working on that day, and then you're also going to get the packet for the coming week because it's going to have the pre-lab on it, and I want you to read through it so you're ready for the upcoming lab. And then your online labs will always look like this. They'll start with some what I'm calling Aaron's notes, which is just a little bit of background. I'll try to give some background videos if you want to watch them, if you want to get a little more background before you start it. Up to you how much you want to engage with that. And then there's always something called Labster Notes. So this is the online software we're using, and they give you a lot of background. How much you want to read through that, totally up to you. If you don't read it all, you'll still be able to do the lab, no problem. I also have in here your study guide questions from the labs. Those are also incorporated into the study guides in your Google folder. So when you get this started, what you'll do, you'll scroll down, you load the lab. Sometimes it takes a minute or 2 to load. If you're hit 5 minutes and it hasn't completed loading, something else is wrong. And you might want to connect with the help center. Labster actually has a really nice help center, or you can contact me. Okay. And then finally, you will have your practice quiz, which are 10 multiple choice questions, or sometimes there's matching questions. And as I said before, you have an opportunity to take it 3 times and I'll keep your highest score. So I just want you to get used to how I write questions. Some of those questions you will most likely see again on a lecture exam. Your lecture exams will be a mix of multiple choice questions as well as short answer questions. Let me check my notes. Okay, I think that is all I wanted to talk about with our tour. There are some other tabs there I'll let you explore at will. We'll have, I'm not going to, other than your first peer introduction, we're not going to have any graded or required discussions, but that might be also a useful tool for you to discuss things with your peers. We have an embedded tutor. Her name is Bree, so you'll be meeting her. And if you haven't been in a class with an embedded tutor, they're fantastic. And Bree will be holding some group tutoring sessions throughout the semester. So that's a great way to get together with your peers, do some learning, work through some study guide questions, and get a better understanding of class. And grades. So I will always be updating your grades. So you should have a solid understanding of how you're doing in the class as you go. Okay, now I'm really done. So I look forward to seeing you in class next week. If you've got questions, send them to me via that inbox, and I look forward to meeting you.